first glance, they're impossible to dislike. They smile warmly, offer compliments generously, and never raise their voice. They remember birthdays, bring cupcakes to work, and always ask, "How are you?" in a way that feels genuine. But beneath this mask of pleasantness can lurk something far more sinister than we often imagine. It's time we talk about the most dangerous kind of person, the one who is always nice. In society, niceness is praised. Children are told to be nice. Adults are rewarded for social diplomacy. The person who's consistently agreeable is often favored in both professional and personal settings. But therein lies the trap. Niceness can be a strategy. It can be a socially accepted way to hide true intentions. While some people are genuinely kind-hearted, others weaponize niceness to manipulate, control, or deceive. And because we're conditioned to trust a nice person, we often never see it coming. Imagine a con artist. They rarely come at you screaming or shouting. Instead, they charm, they flatter, they gain your trust, and then they strike. Psychologists have long studied personality traits that correlate with manipulation. One of the most telling findings is the use of agreeableness as a tool rather than a trait. This is particularly evident in people with high levels of Machiavellianism, narcissism, or sociopathy. These individuals learn how to read others, mirroring empathy and using kindness as camouflage. They understand that being liked is the first step toward being obeyed, or being allowed to get away with anything. They say what you want to hear. They offer help, not out of generosity, but because it builds debt. They smile to avoid suspicion, and because they're always so nice, it becomes difficult, sometimes impossible, for others to believe they could do harm. So how do you spot a dangerous, nice person? It's not easy, but there are subtle signs. Here are some common behaviors that may indicate niceness is being used as a shield. On the surface, a person who avoids conflict at all costs might seem like a dream friend or colleague, always agreeable, never raising their voice, never picking a fight. But this pattern can be a warning sign. When someone never disagrees, never takes a stand, and never expresses anger, it may be less about peacekeeping and more about managing their image. This kind of constant harmony often isn't authentic. It can signal an unwillingness to be honest or vulnerable. In healthy relationships, occasional discomfort is natural and even necessary. A total absence of it might mean resentment is quietly building, or that manipulation is taking place behind a pleasant facade. Another red flag lies in excessive generosity, particularly when it comes with strings attached. These individuals often go out of their way to help, showering others with favors and support. But over time, their help begins to feel transactional. They might subtly remind you of all they've done, expecting unwavering loyalty, gratitude, or a return favor. Their kindness isn't truly selfless. It's a strategic investment used to gain influence or control. What seems like generosity is often just another tool to build emotional leverage. You'll also notice that these people are universally liked, but deeply unknown. Everyone calls them so sweet or such a great person, yet few can recall a meaningful conversation or a moment of true vulnerability with them. Their public image is carefully maintained, but their private self is inaccessible. This lack of depth in relationships isn't accidental. It's a way to avoid scrutiny. By remaining superficially pleasant and agreeable, they avoid revealing their true thoughts, fears, or intentions. Instead of addressing issues directly, they often rely on passive aggression to express dissatisfaction or assert control. They might make cutting remarks disguised as compliments. "I wouldn't have made that choice, but if it works for you, great." Or, "You always have such interesting ideas." These kinds of statements leave others off balance, unsure whether they've just been praised or insulted. It's a subtle but effective way to undermine while keeping their nice person mask firmly in place. Finally, when confronted, they tend to shift into the role of the subtle victim. Rather than take responsibility or engage in honest dialogue, they appear wounded or betrayed by your criticism. This tactic not only deflects accountability, but often leaves the other person feeling guilty for bringing up the issue in the first place. It's emotional sleight of hand, painting the accuser as cruel while preserving their image as kind and misunderstood. Humans are hardwired to avoid conflict and seek out pleasure. When someone treats us kindly, smiles warmly, compliments us, offers to help, it triggers a deep-rooted psychological response. We feel safe. We feel validated. We instinctively trust. This isn't a flaw in our character. It's the result of thousands of years of evolution. In early human societies, survival depended on cooperation. A friendly face could mean food, protection, or alliance. Conflict, on the other hand, could threaten the stability of the group and even your life. So we learn to gravitate toward niceness, to reward it, to assume good intent. And that's exactly what the dangerous nice person counts on. They aren't the ones who raise their voice, slam doors, or create obvious chaos. Those people are easy to spot. The truly dangerous ones are calm, composed, and almost universally liked. They move under the radar. Their weapon of choice isn't a fist, it's a smile. They disarm with charm, manipulate with kindness, and control without ever raising suspicion. They know how to read a room. They know how to say the right thing. They make you feel important, seen, and understood. But it's not always sincere. Their niceness is strategic. It's a performance designed to win trust, to gain influence, and, in many cases, to avoid accountability. By the time you realize something is wrong, you may already be emotionally entangled. You may question your own judgment. After all, how could someone so nice be manipulative or harmful? That's what makes them dangerous, not just to others, but to our perception of what danger even looks like. True kindness doesn't require control, guilt, or image management. It stands up to honest disagreement. It allows for transparency. But manipulative niceness, that's something else entirely. It thrives on silence. It hides behind politeness. And it banks on the fact that most people are too uncomfortable to confront a smiling face. The most dangerous consequence of trusting the nice mask is how it affects victims afterward. People often struggle to process emotional or psychological abuse when it comes from someone universally seen as kind. Victims are doubted. They doubt themselves. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe it's me. Worse still, society often sides with the nice person. That doesn't sound like them. They're so sweet. This disbelief is a form of secondary harm, adding shame, isolation, and gaslighting to an already painful experience. It's important to distinguish genuine kindness from strategic niceness. Genuine kindness isn't about being agreeable all the time. It involves honesty, boundaries, and sometimes uncomfortable truths. It's consistent, even when no one is watching. It holds space for other people's emotions, even when they conflict with your own. Genuine kindness doesn't demand payback. It doesn't rely on appearances, and it certainly doesn't hide harm. The world doesn't need more people who are always nice. It needs people who are real, kind, honest, and accountable. So next time someone seems too perfect, too agreeable, or too polished, take a closer look. Niceness should never be a reason to lower your guard, because the most dangerous person in the room might not be the one shouting, it might be the one smiling.